This is an electric motorcycle. That is a regenerative property. And over the next 3 days, Vaden, Brent, and I are challenging ourselves to see what regenerative agriculture can look like here in Alberta. Today is day 2, and we'll be exploring advanced regenerative soil technologies.
What we're doing is we're bridging regenerative and conventional agriculture. We're taking the agricultural waste products and turning them into agricultural inputs.
Regenerative farms.
We always want to have the farm open for our clients, for our customers.
Come see, where is your food grown? What are we doing? And ask those questions.
And talking about holistic land management with a ranching legend.
I think most ranchers are stewards of the land, mainly because we love our cows, we love our land, and so if we take care of it, it's going to take care of us.
Stay tuned for an amazing adventure.
Well, it sure was quiet here last night.
Yeah. What an incredible place.
This is amazing, Rob. Where do you have us?
So we're at Lee's farm, and he's got lots going on in this quarter. He lives just outside of Sundre, and we're gonna go talk to him about the regenerative path that him and his family have taken over the last few years and how that's led into Terra Preta, which is the business he's operating right now, which is an organic fertilizer company. Let's go chat with Lee.
Steph, Lee, thanks for having us out. I'm just really curious, how long did this take to get this kind of glorious of a garden?
Well, we've been here 3 years now, 4 years since we started our garden, amending the soil every fall with compost, and slowly the soil just keeps getting better and better for us.
So can you show us the garden? It looks like you guys have got some secret sauce going on here.
Absolutely. So, I mean, really, when it comes to the layering effect of all this sort of stuff, we're essentially growing into like a very biodiverse ecosystem. So what's really fun is that we're seeing different animals we've never really seen before. So if you dig in, you've got really nice aggregation. You're getting a lot of really nice airflow. And the pellets, what they do is they provide the biomimicry of biodiversity in the soil. Because they're not a uniform pellet of just one ingredient, we create the ability for multiple species to feed on multiple things.
Diversity is how you deal with complexity.
Correct.
The soil is so complex, and so the way to actually build a diversity of species is by feeding it a complex, diverse food source.
That's correct.
Which is what it sounds like you guys are doing with these pellets.
And that's exactly right. And then watching our kids come down to the garden and pull a carrot out, and they don't wash it off. They just kind of brush it off on their pants and eat it. You know that kid is eating like a very diverse group of microbes that will allow them to grow up with a really healthy gut.
How the heck did you guys come up with a pallet? Where did this brainiac idea come from?
So through the process of doing this garden, we started a company where we deliver garden kits to people in the city.
Cool.
And through that supply chain, we weren't happy with any of the mulches. So it all kind of started with mulch. We decided to start producing the pellets ourselves. And just through the education of soil health and through our company delivering garden kits, we decided let's make something that's not existing right now and that we know could work really well for people.
And sorry, no one else is doing this?
The pelletizing technology is a really old technology. People have been making pellets for a long time. What we're doing that's completely different is we're taking the agricultural waste products and turning them into agricultural inputs.
Okay.
And that's where what we're doing is we're bridging regenerative and conventional agriculture.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Can you guys show us what's going on with the pellets and how you implement all of that?
Absolutely, let's go take a
do
look.
it.
Okay.
So what we do is we drill all of our pellets with a no-till seed drill. So this is a big 50-pound bag of pellets that we have here.
Oh, Mike D.
The craziest dream. What are you doing there, big guy?
What are you doing, man?
I didn't want to be left behind.
It's good to see you, Mike. Thanks for joining us. So as I was saying, this is our pellet. So what we do, I'll actually get you guys to come up here. So we basically just feed the pellets right into the top of the seed drill box.
And these no-tills, you can seed and drop your pellets at the same time,
Yeah.
and you have control of your drop rates.
The joy of a no-till is that You actually never have to disturb your soil.
And from a soil health standpoint too, is anytime we have continuous plant growth in the soil, then that's always feeding and talking to those microbes. So it keeps that population always doing its thing. So if we can constantly have perennials or other plants in the system, then that's always feeding it too.
Right, you always want to just kind of have some sort of root system that's present.
I love that you're pulling this with a 1960s tractor. And I'm not joking about that actually, because I mean, as your soil gets better, the amount of horsepower that you need to actually do stuff goes way down.
Yeah.
We don't need these massive $250,000 or $500,000 tractors
Or more,
to do this.
yeah. And really, that's what it comes down to. When people think that they're gonna go farming, they think they need that huge, 8-wheeled tractor to tow this big, massive tilling machine. But I mean, we use, a late 60s model John Deere tractor. It's probably worth 10 grand. You don't need to have all the toys and the things.
So what I love about what you've got going on here is that you're using conventional ag technology and repurposing it. And so you've got so many functions happening on a single pass.
So in order for us to actually bridge regenerative with conventional, we have to start thinking about how we can open up those conversations with conventional farmers.
You're unlocking possibilities with existing technology
Correct.
that farmers already have.
It doesn't have to be a one-stop overnight thing where you shut down everything you've been doing for 50 years. It's all about progress rather than perfection with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the whole kind of mentality that we have from Terra Preta, is that it's about growing and growing better and growing different ways of doing it.
The one thing I'm noticing, Lee, as we're walking around, is the products that you're using seem to be very safe and stable. Your kids are running around. It's such a different way to do agriculture from what I'm used to seeing.
And that's the whole thing, is that it's about holistic land management, building biodiversity without the use of synthetic chemicals. Listen, fellas, let's go to the Terra Preta shop. I really want to show you how we produce this stuff and show you how that whole process works.
Awesome. Okay, so we just came from the farm where we saw you guys injecting these into the field with the no-till drill. I really liked how you said that Regen Ag was moving towards biodiversity. That's really where the focus is, and that you guys are focusing on biodiverse nutrient inputs in order to support the diversity in the soil.
Yeah.
So this is basically some of what you guys are starting with when you make all of your different pellets.
Correct. So, and how it works is that we wanted to try and say, okay, you know what, instead of just doing like a monocrop kind of fertilizer, let's do a biodiverse regenerative fertilizer. So we take regenerative inputs that come out of waste streams from the agriculture industry. Like this, for instance, this used to be feathers.
Nice.
That's feather meal, and it creates a nitrogen fertilizer.
Nice.
So when we're trying to provide nitrogen in our pellets, we go to feather meal for it. One that's really special is this. So this is black soldier fly larvae frass. So the black soldier fly larvae process is really interesting because it's the circular economy at its finest. Once the larvae have kind of gone through that growth stage, then they flash freeze them and they feed them back to chickens.
Nice.
And then when they slaughter the chickens, we get the feathers.
Right.
And then it keeps going and going and going.
Amazing.
When I was doing it and I was starting to do it, I was just seeing what would pelletize.
Sure.
Let's just try it all.
Yeah.
And then we'd test it. And then finally now we have our 3 core pellets, the Terra Root, the Terra Bloom, and the Terra Renew.
Nice.
And it kind of follows that spring, summer, fall schedule for the farmers.
Sweet. That's amazing. Let's go look at all the equipment you've got over there now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you got a whole bunch of different pelletizers here.
Yeah, so we can currently produce about 5,000 tons a year out of this facility. As we get bigger and start to scale out a little bit more, it's been a super neat thing to be able to look at it and say, okay, instead of building just a normal company, let's build a regenerative company.
Amazing.
Yeah.
People want to change, even within the larger conventional agricultural communities.
Yeah.
People want change, they just want a roadmap to make that first step.
Need to know how to.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pellet rig, it's a super simple process. It's basically you just drop the materials on the top and then you control the flow rate and it drops into a roller that's spinning on a spinning die. And then the material pushes into the die and then it packs that die up, and there's something called residence time. So the longer that the material sits inside the die, the harder the pellet will be. That's how you get that compaction.
Amazing. Let's see how this thing works.
All right, so I'll dump this in. So you basically, Rob, just controlling it off of this. It's all by touch and feel. And without all the bad experiences that I've had, you can't just walk in and do it.
Super cool.
Go feed your soil.
So we've charged up our electric motorbikes here on this homestead overnight, and now they're ready for the day ahead.
We're just heading over to Patti's right now. She's a 4th generation farmer, and she's been running this particular piece of property for over 30 years. Pretty excited to see what this Central Alberta ranch looks like from a regenerative perspective.
Made it.
Yeah. Hey, Patti.
Patti.
Hey guys, how are you?
It'll bring it
Hey,
So thanks for opening up the property for us today.
no problem.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you got going on out here?
Well, I've been here for about 35 years. Background of a ranching family, 4 generations.
Oh, wow. Only 4 generations.
Only 4, yeah.
So how big is the property?
I just have a half and then I rent a section and then have 10,000 acres of lease land.
Okay. Is that crown land?
Yeah.
You say it so nonchalantly, like that's just a small little piece of land.
Yeah.
I guess when you're 4th generation, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Seems small.
Yeah.
No, exactly. You guys want to walk out and see some of the pastures and
Absolutely.
the pies? Okay, perfect.
Patti, can you tell us a little bit about where we are right now?
This is one of my east pastures over here, and just where the cows are there, that's my calving field most of the time. Then I take them off, let it all come back.
You're the 4th generation farmer in your family. Can you talk a little bit about what stewardship means to you and how that has been represented on this property?
Yeah, so I think that most ranchers are stewards of the land, mainly because we love our cows, we love our land, and so if we take care of it, it's going to take care of us. One of the things is I don't put a bunch of spray or fertilizer on because I'm on a river. The things from my parents and grandparents have basically just been instilled in me. Take care of what you have and it will take care of you.
What's your sense of the temperature of the acceptance of different forms of agriculture maybe that are coming online? Are people generally pretty receptive toward it, or are they kind of like, nah, that works for city folk, or that'll work for small plots, but on what we're running, we need to do things conventionally?
Well, my generation, for sure. We're old, we're stuck in our ways, kind of, right? Like, there's not a lot of us to change, but our kids, like the next generation, absolutely. You know, they're all in university, they're all learning, they're all trying to make it better.
Right.
What is it in your mind that creates a holistically managed piece of property?
I take care of my animals, my land, and it takes care of me. So, you know, if I'm looking at the pasture and go, okay, you know, it's a little lack of a grass, well, then I brought a grass in or a seed. I don't break it up all the time, right? Like you see, you keep some forests, some open, some riparian, trees along your river. It pays back dividends to me, so I just keep putting that kind of thing in instead of putting a whole bunch of money into fertilizers and sprays.
There's a couple of paradigms that exist in our society right now, and one is the degenerative paradigm, which is like, how do I look at this property and get as much out of it as possible? And then the sustainable paradigm is humans are inherently destructive, and we have to remove humans from the land. We have to remove cows from the land. If you go down that path far enough, the only solution towards a healthy planet is no humans. It's kind of a negative paradigm. But the regenerative paradigm that you spoke about there is that, no, I can have my cake and I can eat it too. In fact, it's in my best interest to protect my property and to enhance it, and wherever I possibly can, invest back into it, because when I create intelligent investments in there, I'm able to benefit from it.
Lots of different grasses. There's some ryegrass in here, some orchard grass.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
If you were using all sorts of chemicals on your animals, you wouldn't be seeing all the different holes in there, right?
Nope, exactly.
So look at all the bugs in there.
Yeah, well, those bugs are just breaking everything down and making it so that you have nutrients from this manure going right into your soil to grow another plant.
It's completely available.
Yeah.
Sometimes being regenerative is just doing less.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's very true.
Wow.
Patti, I noticed when we pulled over, there was tons of diversity here, different species of dragonfly, a bunch of different other flies. Must be a huge benefit to having such biodiversity and kind of in the middle of one of your fields.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just one of the other things that kind of spreads the bugs around you. Like you say, I've got the blackbirds that go crazy here when the cattails get going. And
did you plant cattails here?
Yeah, I planted cattails like at that end, and it's just taken off all the way around.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And you guys obviously built this up.
Yeah, we dug it out like it's 30 feet deep.
Okay, but this is great for the filtration.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We need some more of
that's what
that
we need
to
to do.
happen. Yeah.
Looks amazing.
Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to speak to us and also to give the message to all of our viewers. It's really amazing to see how you're stewarding this land and the example that you're providing. And I know that the next generation will take you up on all that incredible knowledge that you've accumulated over the last 30 years.
Yeah, well, I hope so, and I thank you guys too for getting the word out there that, you know, if we all start doing our little part, whether it's our little garden or a big ranch, to take care of the earth, that it's going to take care of all of us and feed us.
It's a lovely message. If I had $1 million. We're just heading off to Ear to Earth Farm now, and from what I've been told, they have an incredible array of regenerative projects happening on their property. Really, really excited to see what they've got going on. Oh man, that was a beautiful drive.
You made it.
Holy, just barely.
Hey guys, welcome. Nice to meet you. I'm Nicole. Nice to meet you.
Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Vaden.
So tell us a little bit about the property.
Yeah, so you are at Ear to the Earth Farm in just south of Bergen, Alberta. We're situated on 140 acres, and we just got here April of last year. So yeah, we're excited to show you guys around and talk more about regenerative agriculture.
Awesome. I'd love to get a tour.
Sure, let's
Okay,
go.
let's go.
So this area of the farm here, we're wanting to do some fruit orchard down the road.
Yep.
So we've put in some plum, some pear, and some apple. We want people to come and see where their food is grown from, right? So we want them to see what they can grow, what they can actually eat, and that it's community kind of area.
Yeah, so we'll have like picnic tables once these trees grow up a little bit, maybe have pizza nights or whatever. We can do it underneath the trees and
Amazing. Such a great idea.
Yeah.
If you want to see the market garden area next,
Let's do it.
so these are all permanent beds. So each one of these blocks has got 6 beds, and then those are fixed, and we don't have to reshape them or whatever. We just rake them each time we get ready. If we don't use it for that year, we tarp it and hold it for the next year.
Amazing.
We planted asparagus here this year, so these will be permanent. I mean, they produce for 25, 30 years.
And these are 2 greenhouses that we have here. We've got at least close to 400 tomato plants.
Wow.
So when we lived in BC, we found that restaurants really love the tomatoes, and we just thought we're gonna just try it again here. But Alberta's a little different than British Columbia for growing,
So here we switched to a few different varieties, more of the canning varieties, the cherries, which are a lot quicker. We have a few restaurants that are interested. We have some guys that we did these Meet the Farmer tours this spring, and people signed up for like 100 pounds here, 100 pounds there for canning and stuff like that. So
Good.
Just start out.
It's starting to take off.
Yep.
Mind if I take a straw?
Yeah, absolutely.
please.
So we intercrop with marigolds and basil there.
Yeah, for pest control, and then we harvest the marigold flowers because we put that back into our layer feed for the chickens because it gives a dark orange color for the yolk.
Oh, right on.
And then all the basil's in between, so we can just make our sauce with our basil plant and basil pesto and
Cool.
stuff. Yeah. I think those are the sweet million. Here's a
Those are really good.
Yeah, these are the sun gold, I believe.
I'm gonna not make it to dinner.
And then we grow the salads on the outside beds.
Yeah.
And we just all sell it all as a salad mix. So we just mix the different varieties together.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Nice.
We'll sample a few tonight, don't worry.
Where's the compost coming from?
Yeah, so a guy was just selling it. He was a sheep farmer like 15 years ago or something. I bought a load from him in the spring and then I found out they were in the process of selling the place. I said, hey, what are you gonna do with all that compost? He says, why, you wanna make a deal? So we made a deal for the whole pile and it's just unbelievable stuff.
How many you have? 10?
12.
12. Okay.
There you go, guys.
What's the feed you're giving them?
So it's a mix of barley, wheat, lentils, peas. And they got all the way to the back of you can see the fence there. So they're out foraging and rooting. And I would like to rotate them through the different areas just so that they're less destructive in here.
Yeah.
So this section of the pasture here was where we first started the cattle on the intensive grazing. It's now had just over 6 weeks of rest, and now we've got forage 1.5 feet high. Fantastic results.
Wow.
And you mentioned the difference between rotational grazing and what you're doing. Could you explain that a little bit?
Rotational grazing, in my opinion, is a little bit too general. I think adaptive or management intensive grazing, it is intensive because I'm out there moving cattle twice a day. So it does take some effort.
And they get so trained that they actually come follow him whenever he comes out now.
They'll
be ready to go.
to
So
a
when
good
he,
spot.
yeah,
They
they know they're going to go to a better
I know if they hear the quad in the morning, they hear me coming down the alley, they're like, whoop,
Yeah.
I'm there. Hardest part that people realize is you can overgraze a pasture with 5 head.
Yeah.
And you can not overgraze it with 100 head. Okay, we'll go give these guys a new paddock. You guys can see how excited they are. Come on, come on. Come, guys. Come, come, come. Come, come, come. Come on, come on.
Come on, ladies, let's go.
So excited. New grass. So happy.
So what's the purpose of rotational grazing?
So the whole thing we're trying to do here is build soil. We're trying to put carbon back into the soil because as they pass over a small area in a short period of time, they're pressing other seeds that have been, lying on the seed bed here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. They're concentrating all their feces in a small area and they're just taking the tops off of the grasses, which is the higher sugar. By doing that, you're not stressing the root ball underneath. You're not grazing it continually and shrinking the roots underneath. So through photosynthesis, through the cattle's mouths to really accelerate the carbon you're putting back in the soil.
So simple yet so effective. Yeah. What's next year? What does next year look like? What are you excited about?
We always want to have the farm open for people, for our clients, for our customers to come and see. How do we grow?
Yeah.
Why do we grow it like
That's
this
a
way?
huge thing.
What are we putting on our crops? We know that we can do our part by management, by working together with nature to improve this property, and hopefully as we influence our neighbors around us and the people that eat our food, they'll know the difference.
Thanks for the tour, guys. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We love showing people around and. I'm starting to get hungry. I'm smelling brisket. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So welcome everybody to the dinner this evening. We have homegrown tomatoes, some fresh basil from the greenhouse, and homegrown potatoes and beets with some of our dill. And then we've got a fresh garden salad at the end there that's got some tomatoes and fresh onions from the garden with some goat feta. And then our freshly pulled garlic from our young ladies over there. They've grilled it for us so nicely.
Girls.
So it's got some balsamic glaze on there, and you can just take some homemade bread, and there's some homemade butter for anyone that likes it on their bread.
Amazing.
And the brisket?
Brisket, oh yeah.
That's him.
Brisket, how can we forget? Yeah, so grass-fed, grass-finished brisket from our farm as well. So thank you guys for joining us today. And
Thank you guys. It's amazing. This is so quick, this bread. Just keeps coming.
Here comes the meat now.
I mean, this is the other piece that I think urbanites probably don't realize, but or people that haven't got a connection to a farm. Yeah. But the food is just unbelievable.
And the fellowship, and I mean,
and the fellowship.
we work long hours and it's some tedious days, but look at the lifestyle. Look at look what we do. We eat. Nobody eats like this. I mean, we're so rich.
Amen.
This is amazing. This is so good.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Follow us here so you don't miss any future videos and extended clips. Stay tuned for episode 3.